Hello everybody, it's Wolf again with Wolf's SPT. Subscribers, you should already know what that means. Today we're going to be doing a review and breakdown of modifications to a Mosin Nagant. I have a model here behind me, it's mine. It is 9130. This one's a 1943 is Hess model. They're a great gun, especially for the money. Under 200 bucks typically, as long as you get a good one. And I'll show you here in a second how to make sure it's a good one. It's accurate, and it'll definitely get the job done. The Mosin Nagant fires a 7.62 by 54 R round. R is rimmed. Uses stripper clips. You don't have to use the stripper clips. I recently acquired some. I really like them. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's a good round though. It's just a little larger than a 308 and just smaller than a 30-06. And it gets the job done. It'll take big game and definitely take a man if needed. So now we're going to get into how you make sure you're getting a good model. If you see one in a gun store, you're thinking about buying it. First thing you want to check your bore. Hold it up to a light. Look through the barrel. Make sure it's got good rifling. Make sure you can see a good lip on the rifling. That's a good way to tell. Another one is once you do get it home, or if you have the ability to do so at the gun store, kudos to you, but check your headspace. And there are headspace tools. If you're buying it from a gunsmith shop, they should have the ability and the headspace tool to show you that to you. But another good, cheap, easy way to check headspace: chamber around. If the bolt closes, but not too easily, if you feel the bolt actually having to work to close, it's good. If it closes too easily or it won't close, then your headspace is off. It's probably not safe to shoot. That's just general information. I'm not liable if you hurt yourself. But ask questions. You go to a gun shop, you're looking at a gun, always ask questions. I don't care if it's new in the box. Ask questions about the gun. We're going to get into what I did to modify this one. First thing is externally. Well, as you can see, I took the rear sight out and just let the rear sight mount. Mounted a scope rail and put a scope on it. You can have a gunsmith drill and tap a scope mount further back, but this gun has a straight bolt handle. So unless you want to pay your gunsmith to heat and bend this handle, or you want to risk chopping it off and putting one of the bolt-on ones on, which the guy who makes those I hear very good things about, but I don't like the idea of drilling and tapping a bolt. Just me. But unless you want to do one of those two things, you can't mount a scope back here because this is your chamber. So if your scope's back here, you can't feed the rounds in. When they eject, they could maybe hit your scope. It's going to give you all sorts of headaches. But this configuration right here, this is what is called scout mount by some. I like it, and I'll tell you why I like it. First of all, you can leave both eyes open. So if you're an off-eye shooter, that is, you're right-handed and your left eye dominant, or you're left-handed, your right eye dominant, just leave both eyes open. You can see just fine through the scope. This is a long eye relief scope, and that is one thing that you will have to specifically look for if you do the scout mount. You will need a long eye relief scope. I already have this gun apart for time purposes, but you would see if this gun was put together. I mean, this is the back of the receiver here, so the stock, you're at least in that, you're talking good 18 inches roughly to the scope. So you need a long eye relief scope to do the scout mount. But like I say, I really like it. You can keep both eyes open. So say you had a shorter range target. This scope here is a 2 to 7 by 32, scope, variable zoom. You could dial this down to the lowest setting, which is 2, and it's good magnification for out to about 100, maybe 125 yards. Leaving both eyes open, so you're not closing one eye, taking your eye off the target while you're trying to get your eye in the scope. You can pop on targets really quick like this. I really do enjoy it. So the next external thing we did was I had the barrel shortened. The 9130 model, which this one is, comes with a 28-inch barrel. I've had this one chopped down to 24. With the M44 or M38 variants, they come with a 20-inch barrel. They were made for paratroopers, so they're a lot shorter. They have to be able to get out of the door of an airplane with it. This gun has been used in wars since 1891. Is still used today by some like freedom fighting forces in third world countries. Very popular, ammo's cheap, easy to come by. You can even get non-surplus rounds at your local sporting goods store. I don't know the name of the company, but they make an FMJ round in 180 grains, and it's 11 to 12 bucks a box here. And then you can get them in the Winchester white box, 180 grains, lead core, so they're a good hunting round. And they're about 25 bucks a box, about on par with your 308s or 3030s or your 30-06s. Next list of modifications I did was, this is an ATI stock. This one is camouflage. It came this way. I don't know if you can still get them. I looked recently and all I could find was solid black, but not like you couldn't look up how to paint a gun stock if you wanted. It's a good Monte Carlo stock. Modernizes your stock. It's much better cheek weld, much more comfortable pistol grip. You got checkering up here, so you got good grip. If you do go to change out the stock on your Mosin Nagant, I don't have my wooden stock anymore. I kept my gun so I could return it to original, but my kids got a hold of stock and broke part of the foregrips, so there you go. But when you get one of these, what you want to do is you want to take the action in the barrel and take the whole underside. Lipstick is great to use. Get some lipstick from your wife, girlfriend, whoever. I'm not saying that. Coat the whole bottom side of that. Set it in here. Pull it back out. Wherever you see that color lipstick is where you need to take some of the stock away. Use a Dremel with a finer tip on it, or some sandpaper. Suggest something finer, like 100, 120. You could maybe take a little with 60 if you can tell you had a lot to go. But before you go too long, you're gonna want to cut that back. Where main places you're gonna see where you're gonna need to take some out is throughout here, throughout the foregrip part, to make sure that the barrel free floats. That is when you can take a piece of paper, I like using a dollar bill, and slide it down here between the barrel and the foregrip, and it doesn't touch. Makes the gun more accurate. And then another place you'll definitely need to do it, I had to do some in here, but a big place I had to do it is right here, where it's black there. Oh, wrong way. That black, that is where the interrupter and the ejector are. They operate off of one spring. The interrupter keeps the next round from popping up while the round before it is still there, so you don't get misfeeds. And then the ejector, of course, is what ejects the spent casing. You have to cut that back and recess it a bit so that that spring can operate enough for it to work properly. This gun is very fast to load the next round. It has a 5-round magazine on it, which is this piece right here. And like I said, if you use the stripper clips, that 5-round magazine, you can load it and empty this gun very easily. So that's the magazine. As you can see, I put the stock comes with sling swivels. I put the bipod on it, put this no slip sling on it, and I put this cheek weld pad on it. This is just a neoprene sleeve. It comes with multiple cuttable styrofoam pieces. They're different thicknesses, so you can put the cheek weld where you like it. I like just what felt comfortable for me on this gun was I raised the cheek weld way up. You can see the bump there. That's from the styrofoam or the foam pad. Now we'll start getting into actual things to do to the gun to make it operate a little easier and or better. First thing is the bolt. Apparently this one's still a little dirty. No, it's oil. Okay. I was just out shooting this. When you first get it, you bring it back, you take the bolt out. You go to open it normally, tilt it up, hold the trigger down, and slide the bolt out. Polish this. Brillo pad, fine sandpaper, anything like that. Polish it till you get a good shine out of it. It'll go a lot smoother in and out of the receiver, and you'll get a lot smoother action. Another thing you want to polish is the opposing part, the inside of the receiver here. Just through here, where you see that the bolt makes contact, just watch the bolt, work the bolt a couple times and watch, and you'll see where all it makes contact. Just take just a little bit off. Just polish it, take a little bit off maybe. Make a lot smoother and better operation. These, when you buy them a lot of times at, when you buy them at gun shows, they come wrapped in or coated in cosmoline wax. You're going to want to get all that out. Take your bore brush to the barrel really well. Then take a shotgun bore brush. 12 gauge tends to work really well. Stick it in the end of a drill, the rod end in the end of a drill. You can get up in here in the receiver and get all that cosmoline out of the chamber that way. Don't be afraid to let it run for a minute. It's wax. The hotter it gets, the easier it runs. So you want to get all that out of there really well. If you don't get all the cosmoline out, you may have firing problems with this weapon, and you'll realize once you get all the cosmoline out, it will operate a lot better, obviously. Another modification I did to mine. If you see this screw right here, okay, right there, that screw, that is what holds your trigger. This is a spring to your trigger assembly. These Mosins, when you get them, they come with a lot of slop in the trigger and a lot of trigger pull. I'd say about 7 pounds. That's a lot of trigger. What you can do, I'll hold this. What you can do is you loosen that screw that I just showed you, and you take from an electrical connector kit. You've got the blue, the red, the yellow connectors. Take a yellow forked connector and cut the whole plastic part of it off, so it's just a metal fork. Loosen that screw up some and put that fork under it. Tighten it back down. Make sure that the fork doesn't slip or move out of place as you're doing it. Hold it in place and tighten it down really well. Blue Loctite with a Mosin Nagant is your friend. Blue Loctite allows you to get something tight and it won't come loose on its own, but you can still loosen it if you need to. Whereas red, you may not ever get that screw out again without some serious tools and force. But what that'll do is that'll take a lot of the slop out of your trigger, and it will take about 1 to 2 pounds out of your trigger pull. I shot this one after I did the trigger job. I was amazed with the improvement. But even if you don't do that modification, if you take this gun out and you put some rounds through it, you'll get used to that trigger and you will get very accurate with this rifle. So long as you have good rifling and good headspace, like we already talked about, this gun should have no problem shooting accurate for you. I'd say novice shooter should be able to hit a target up to 300. Skilled shooter, definitely 500 easily. It just takes practice. Another modification you can do to the Mosin Nagant rifle is right here in the magazine. This is the magazine / trigger guard piece. This is, if you pull this little lever, the trap door opens up, squeeze your springs, this comes out. What I did is I just took a pair of needle nose pliers, and I'll get you a up close shot. But these leaf springs here and here, I just bent them up just a touch, just to give it a little more oomph in the spring. That spring could be wore out. Normally these guns are in pretty good shape, but if they came out of combat, they'll reservice them, or refurbish them a bit, and then they'll wrap them, put them in cosmoline, and put them in a case. So that one can help too. Can definitely help the feeding. And then to put it back in, you just collapse your springs. It opens up. Go around this pin here, let go of your springs. There you go. That's the Mosin Nagant rifle and how to mod it in a nutshell. Simple, easy stuff. You don't need a gunsmith to do any of this stuff. I'd never worked on a gun before, and I picked this one up. Watched a few YouTube videos on here. There are a lot of good videos on YouTube on mods for the Mosin Nagant, and they work. And it's all stuff I did myself with no previous experience in gunsmithing. And just for pure of heart out there, the correct pronunciation, I believe, is Mosin Nagant. made by a Belgian and a Russian. One made the trigger, one made the bolt. They can't, yeah, somebody put two and two, they put two and two together. Made an excellent Russian battle rifle. That's it for as far as the mods I've done to mine. I use it for hunting. I love shooting it at the range. Gets looks everywhere I go. A lot of people go, "What is that? Is that a?" I think I've had one guy ask if it was a Mauser, and one guy asked if it was an Enfield, which I didn't see how he could confuse it with an Enfield, but hey, whatever. It's like, no, man, that's a Mosin Nagant. As you can see, mine's been fully customized, modernized. Like I said, I did try and keep it to where I could return it to original for the longest time, but I had to chop that barrel down, which took off the front post sight. There's a replaceable front sight that just slips over the barrel and clamps in place with a set screw. And I could get another wood stock. I could still return this gun to original right now. I still have the rear sight parts. Other than that, it's just the stock and the front sight. It's a really cool gun, though. Simple to work on. You can break this bolt down. The firing pin, of course, is in here. There's a spring. Breaks down in like 4 or 5 pieces. Takes some practice, and I haven't done it in a while. I was going to do it for you guys for this video, but it's like, yeah, I've done that in about a year. I don't want to do that again and not be able to put it back together. So, didn't do that for this video. I'm sorry. And the only other thing I will say about this is the ammunition. The surplus ammo is fine. Most of it shoots really well. I mean, and pretty accurate for military surplus ammunition. But it's old stuff. The casings are correct. The paint they used on the casings is correct. It's actually a lacquer. They look like they're brass. They're not brass. They're actually steel, and they're painted in lacquer. The lacquer is corrosive. Not a problem. But if you shoot the surplus stuff, make sure you clean this rifle after every time. That lacquer does eat away at the inside of your bore. It'll eat away at your chamber, rust your bore, and next thing you know, you've got a rifle that doesn't work safely or is inaccurate as all get out. So I did want to mention that to you guys. These rifles, for those of you who don't know, typically run under $200, if I didn't say that already. Depending on the model you get, there's some really cool ones out there. The sniper models usually go for a little bit more. The hex receivers go for more, and the M44s and M38s go for more. The 9130 is the cheapest variant if you get it in a round receiver. But I love mine. Can't beat it. That's everything I got for this time, guys. So this is Wolf, and I'm out.